Since its initial debut back in 1988, the Chucky franchise has been the bane of kids and adults everywhere. The tiny slasher has made his way to the cinemas countless times, and throughout his run, we've seen him take out his psychopathic rage on a number of innocent and some not so innocent characters. Today, we'll be ranking our picks for the top main characters from the Chucky franchise. So let's jump right in. First up, we've got Madeline. Starting at the very bottom of our list, we have Madeline. While she isn't as remembered as some of the other people you'll soon see, we really just had to give her a shout out because of how tragic her story is. In the cult of Chucky, we see that Madeline is a patient at the Harrogate mental facility. Her backstory involves her murdering her own child. The guilt of that basically makes her a mental patient, and things take a turn for the worst when she comes across everyone's favorite child-sized killer. She starts to see her own child in Chucky, and of course, that means that the doll starts making her do his bidding. While he can certainly call her an accomplice to his crimes, we can't help but feel a tad bit bad for her, since she's a victim too, in a way. The moral ambiguity surrounding Madeline's character makes her a really interesting villain, definitely one of the most iconic of the Child's Play franchise, and for that, we just had to mention her in this video. Moving on to number 2, it's Chief Warren Kincaid. While the Chief might not have as much screen time as some of the other characters in this video, he still manages to be a darn good villain. Kincaid is portrayed as a super hardened police chief that just has to showcase his authority over everyone. On top of that, the dude's a total control freak. Not really the best combo, is it? Because of this, you can totally see why both Chucky and the audience may want him dead. And luckily, the killer doll grants that wish. In The Bride of Chucky, the police chief quickly meets his maker when he takes a nail gun to the face. Though his time in the movie is short-lived, pun intended, he definitely makes a huge impact on the audience, mostly by annoying them so much that they just wish he quickly bites the bullet. We suppose a nail gun is the next best thing though, right? And at number 3, we have Mike Norris. It's rare to find people that are actually helpful and good-natured in the Child's Play series, but Mike Norris is definitely a character that falls under that category. While most of his other colleagues are quick to write off the idea of a child-sized killer being on the loose, Mike actually puts some thought into it. Hey, he even considers poor little Andy as one of the suspects. So you just know he left no stone unturned, though he quickly realizes it's no child that's doing the killings. It's a killer doll when he sees Chucky's actions at full display. He definitely deserves a spot on this list for not only having an open mind, but for also getting through the series without having his mind opened by the killer doll. In fact, the guy basically deals the killing blow to Chucky's heart, which makes him a badass in our books, though the child-sized murderer does eventually come back, of course, but you'd have to take that up with the producers, not Norris. So for number 4, we've got Jennifer Tilly. Okay, we know what you're thinking. Jennifer Tilly, the actress? Yeah, for those who haven't yet to see Seed of Chucky, which, by the way, why are you watching this video without having seen all the entries in the Child's Play franchise? The movie basically casts the actress as herself. Now, we can't really say if the fictional version of herself is close to real life, but on screen, she's definitely shown as arrogant and a complete hothead. As a failing actress, she's having a hard time getting people to take her seriously. Her character's really just a joy to watch because there's so many levels of irony and meta humor that we're really not even sure we get all of it. For sure though, finding an actor who's able to have a laugh at themselves can be super rare sometimes, and we think Tilly makes her way to the list mainly for being such a good sport about it. Now for our number 5, Karen Barkley. In a series where most of the characters are pretty hateable, there's surprisingly not much to dislike about Karen. Despite what her name might make you think, she's totally not a Karen at all. She's a loving mother who just can't afford a good guy doll for her son's birthday, and so instead, she buys a doll from a random man on the road. Hey, we've all been there, haven't we? No, just us? Okay. Unfortunately for her, this doll just happened to have the soul of a psychopathic murderer trapped in it, but she had no way of knowing that, now did she? While Karen's actions do start the whole thing, she's still a worthy addition to this video, mainly because she steps up and takes charge charge of the situation. Usually, moms in horror movies are quick to dismiss the whole thing until it comes back to bite them. But here, she's there for her son, and that's really all we can hope to see. On to our number 6, Kyle. Please excuse us while we spend the next minute or so absolutely standing over Kyle. We're really getting to the top of the line characters for the Child's Play franchise here, and we just can't help but include Andy's perfect big sister that he never had. Not only is she a complete badass, helping Andy take down his plasticky friend turned foe in Child's Play 2, she's also a constant source of support for the kid while he's in the foster care system. Adding to all that, it's revealed later on that she and Andy continue to be together later on, helping each other deal with the trauma they've surely suffered due to Chucky. Kyle also brings to light one of the main LGBTQ+ themes featured in the Child's Play series. The slasher is known for having a number of queer characters and themes, which is super rare for movies and films of its time. The idea of found family shows queer youth that they can branch out and form new bonds and relationships in case their genetic family isn't as supportive or accepting. And we'd be lying if we said that concept isn't shown amazingly through the bond that Kyle and Andy shared. Up next at number 7, it's Andy Barkley. The Child's Play franchise really becomes an amusement park ride filled with wackiness as it progresses, and sure, while they're a total joy to watch, we can't help but continue to go back to that first part. And a lot of that is because of the film's protagonist, Andy. That childlike sense of danger and dread of the impossible, of somehow convincing the grown-ups and trying to succeed against all odds. It's truly what defines the movie. All of that is perfectly showcased through Andy. The lad crosses paths with Chucky a couple of times, and throughout it all, you can't help but hope that he makes it out alive. Though he's never really going to get over all the trauma he's gone through, nor be able to turn back the clock on the time he's lost, Andy is still no pushover. What makes him a total hero in our books is the fact that he not only frees himself of Charles Lee Ray, but also works to make sure that no other child has to suffer what he did. And that's something we can totally commend. And finally, at the top of it all, we've got Chucky himself. You knew it was coming, and what better spot to give to the king of the franchise than the very top? Chucky, formerly known as Charles Lee Ray, might seem like he's just a scary doll with not much going on. The character's development over the film franchise is truly something to behold. The murderous doll goes from a straight-laced killer to a family man to a nearly unstoppable force of mischief. Can you name one other horror movie villain with such a level of development? But what really makes him as iconic of a character as he is that he's not just a crazy killer. You've got to agree, he certainly has a bit of charm to him. Even though he's trapped in a doll's body, we get to see Ray's cunning and intellect at full display during the films. And all the tricks he has up his sleeves are really what allow him to remain a step ahead of all those pesky humans. For a villain who's out murdering people, he really is the underdog of his own franchise, which is why you can't help but root for him just a tiny bit. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these characters are your favorites? And think we should have added any more to the list? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.